So one day, this guy is walking around his neighborhood when he suddenly hears a dog barking. And he stops a neighbor and says, "Hey, I think this dog is missing." And she's like, "Let's take it on a walk and see if he knows his way back home." So they both take the dog on a walk. And sure enough, the dog leads them straight to something horrifying. A trail of blood. They follow it and find a dead body. They immediately call 911. When the cops arrive, they make another shocking discovery. There's not just one body, but two. At the crime scene, they find bloody leather gloves and bloody footprints leading to a back gate. On the turnstile, there's a bloody fingerprint. But strangely, the police never collect it as evidence. And they do this with a lot of the evidence found. Inside the house, the cops find two children and immediately send them to the LAPD. Then they find a letter with a return address belonging to O.J. Simpson, the ex-husband of the victim, Nicole Brown Simpson. O.J. wasn't just anyone. He was one of the most famous NFL players in the country. And here's the thing. Someone actually saw OJ in the area when Nicole's body was found, and it was right around the time of the murders. But for some reason, this witness was never called to testify on trial. The detective head to OJ's house. Outside, they see a white truck, and on it, spots of blood. They break into the house and find a guy named Brian. They ask him where OJ is, and he tells them he went to Chicago. Then they ask, "Did anything strange happen last night?" And Brian goes, "I don't know, but was there an earthquake? Because I heard some banging on the wall." That's when the detectives check behind the wall and find a black leather glove. Same kind of glove found at the crime scene. At this point, they're convinced OJ is the prime suspect. Nicole's family already suspected him too. They knew he had it in him to kill her. But who was the second victim? His name was Ron Goldman. He was just stopping by Nicole's house to drop off a pair of glasses that Nicole's mother had left at a restaurant. He was at the wrong place at the wrong time. The cops call OJ and tell him your ex-wife is dead. And he responds, "Oh my god, someone killed Nicole? Oh my god." The evidence against him was enough to arrest him. But since OJ had money, he wasn't immediately taken in. He was allowed to turn himself in, which he didn't do. Instead, he went to his friend Robert Kardashian's house. When the cops went to get him, OJ was gone. That's when the LAPD issued a nationwide manhunt. And then came the moment that stunned the country, the Bronco chase. OJ and his friend A.L. Collins were in a white Ford Bronco, driving down the freeway. But it wasn't a high-speed chase. OJ had a gun to his head, threatening to kill himself. The police didn't want to escalate the situation, so they followed slowly. The chase was broadcast live on TV and over 95 million people watched it. Fans lined the overpasses holding signs that said, "Run OJ, run." For 2 hours, the entire country watched as OJ rode down the freeway. Finally, he surrendered. He was arrested and sent to jail. What followed was one of the most famous trials in history. The prosecution had DNA evidence, blood at the crime scene that matched OJ's, a history of domestic violence, and the bloody glove found at his house. But the defense fought back, led by Johnny Cochran. They argued that the LAPD planted evidence and framed OJ because of racism, especially pointing to a detective who had a history of making racist remarks. The most famous moment, when OJ tried on the bloody glove in court and it didn't fit. That's when one of the attorneys said his famous line, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." Which is complete BS because OJ had arthritis and he purposely didn't take his arthritis pills because it made his hands swell up. After just 4 hours of jury deliberation, the verdict was read on October 3rd, 1995. Not guilty. The courtroom erupted. Some saw it as a justice to the corrupt system. Others saw it as one of the biggest miscarriages of justice ever. Even though he walked free, the case wasn't over. In 1997, the victims' families sued OJ in civil court. He was found liable for wrongful death and ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages, which he never paid, by the way. In 2007, he was arrested for armed robbery in Las Vegas and sentenced to 33 years in prison, though he was released on parole in 2017. The O.J. Simpson case changed American culture forever, from how the media covers trials to conversations about race and justice. And it all started with a barking dog.